won the Maggie Dixon Award. It's the award for the best first-year head coach, your first year, 25 victories. I think it was 11, 18, and 15, somewhere in there. Then you went through a little bit of a lean stretch, but built it back up. What was important about that comeback, if you will, to rebuild the program up to a championship level?
I think it was about, kind of finding our truth and kind of sticking to it, right? Finding a style that we felt super passionate about playing. And then just kind of adjusting the way that we went about recruiting and putting the pieces together that we wanted to put out on the floor. So it was a tough time. If anybody asked me if I'd come off all winning season and said, hey, come rebuild this program, I would have said, yeah, I can do it, but not really had the substance behind it to be able to say that we could accomplish it. But we learned so much about ourselves, how we want to play, what standard we want to create. And I think it translates, and I think I'm excited to implement it with these young women. We've already started, gotten on the floor, had a really good first day of workouts, and really starting to grow the relationships and build the relationships, and you can start to see it and feel it coming together the way that we had the opportunity to do it at Iona.
Talk about some of the standards that you want to implement and your foundational style of play.
Some of the things that we talk about is, one, how you do anything is how you do everything. Shout out to Jess Sims from Peloton. She says it all the time. I need to get back on it. But just making sure that you show up as your best self in every area that you show up. And then one of the vice presidents at Iona used to tell us that energy is never neutral. You either give it or you take it away. Just showing up to every space with the energy that requires to be successful, to be great in that space, and to not draw away from the energy. So we talked about that with the young women, and they brought the energy, they brought the excitement to the first day of workouts. A little scared of some of the new and the things that they don't know, but really just wanting to try to show up at their best selves, bringing that energy and working as hard as they possibly could. So we start to build there and really kind of branch out in all the other avenues. Show up great academically, right? What's the energy that it takes to be successful academically in your meetings? Whatever you're doing, just bringing great energy and being your highest self at the moment.
Style of play-wise, I've read that you like defense. We like that here. We like to play defense. We need defense in the big leagues.
Sure.
Talk about how that works into your plan.
Absolutely. We want to be aggressive defensively. We want to be disciplined defensively. So you have certain allowances that you get once you buy into how we're going to build out our defensive structure. But everyone cares about the ball, kind of pack line gap style defense, where one person is guarding the ball, everyone else is helping them. And then the better that you get in that system, the more allowances you're allowed to have to take a few gambles. So we really hang our hats on that. We take a lot of charges. Started, first day with the charge drill, teaching you how to get planted, get set, take advantage of an out of control offensive player and take the contact and fall. So really wanting to make sure that we are aggressive, that we're locked into each other, that we have a full team mentality when it comes to defense and making sure that creates our flow offensively.
New Rochelle, you're about an hour away from New York City, but that's Big East country, obviously. You succeeded Tony Bozzella over there at Iona. You played St. John's, you played Providence this season. Connecticut's on pretty much every time they play in some capacity. How much have you been able to follow the Big East through your time?
You always follow great basketball, and one of the things that we like to do as a staff is we like to continue to learn as much as we can. So we have our little edit we call stolen plays and synergy, where you're watching the great teams, you're watching the things that you want to learn, and you're moving them over. How can we implement this? What can we do with our personnel to kind of use some of the stuff that you're watching? One of my really good friends is a coach at UConn, Morgan Valley, played there. We've been friends for a really long time. So stealing little pieces from her, hopefully they run the exact same playbook because it has some of it and we can defend it. But you watch great basketball all the time to really try to study and grow yourself as a coach. We know we're up for a challenge, but we're excited for that.
Recruiting-wise, you've done well internationally, and it's different now because you've got the portal involved, you got maybe a little NIL involved, but I think last year you had Spain, the Republic of Georgia, Slovakia, Iceland represented on your roster. How are you going to approach recruiting here, and can you maybe influence internationally as well as you have at Iona?
You're good that you remembered all those places. I think it translates. I think you can still recruit internationally. I think, this area is a hotbed for women's basketball, and we want to be aggressive and relentless about building the relationships in this area and keeping some of this incredible talent home. But I think, in this day and age, like you said, with the portal, with all the movement, with NIL, everything else that comes into it, you can bring great athletes here. You can bring great players here, and it doesn't matter what avenue, because you have an incredible product with great resources, with great support, and people that want to see this program succeed. So we'll go after the best, and we'll work as hard as we can to get some great players here.
Yeah, with all that fun stuff you just mentioned, portal, NIL, how different is it now being a women's head coach than it used to be maybe 5 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago? Social media is involved now. We're using it as a message platform. How different is it as an experience as a head coach?
It is so different, but you've got to grow and change. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of social media. I try my hardest. I write out a million different posts that I'm going to put up and delete it. I'm like, oh, that sounds so silly, and then the moment's gone, right? So I need a little help in that area, but it's very different. You have to adjust with the times. You have to adjust with what student athletes are looking for and support them in the way that they are going to feel like they can grow into the person that they want to grow into. So very different from what we've done about 5, even 10 years ago, even 2 years ago. But we're learning, we're growing, and we're going to continue to find them wherever they are.
Rick Pitino was at Iona. You had a chance to build a relationship with him, and I read the story where you sent him the "have a great season, stay healthy" type of text before the year started. He's responding back, "Let's do this together." What's it like? How important was it to have that relationship, and how important is it to build relationships on the men's side?
Yeah, it was a really cool text, and when we texted each other afterwards, we just saying congratulations and good luck in the first round tournament. We drew back on that text, like, we manifested this. This was done together because we talked about it. But those relationships are incredibly important. You share space with men's basketball, volleyball, everybody around you, and you want to make sure that you're growing together. We're always an advocate of our partners down the hall, and want to make sure that we continue to grow that. Coach Miller has been phenomenal so far. He's popped over, same thing, let's grab lunch, let's talk it out, and I'm going to use that incredible resource. He has the blueprint, right? Give me the blueprint, tell me how to do it, tell me how to get the players here, tell me how to win it. Because you know that you have a great mind, you have a great person down the hall, and like I said, you want to learn and grow as much as possible and support the people around you who are doing it for the right reasons. So I'm excited to work with them.
Go all the way back to your first coaching experience. You were a senior at Hofstra. You broke into coaching, and I'll let you tell the story, but
right.
Felicia Leggett-Jack was kind of your first mentor. How big of an influence is she still maybe today for you? But just talk about how you started coaching alongside her.
Man, she is awesome. I fractured my shin my freshman year in college. Had a titanium rod screw put in. We thought it would never happen again. Played through a lot of pain. We had a few injuries on our team, so multiple different positions. In comes Coach Jack, my senior year. And in the interview process, they allowed us to be a part of it. So, we're in the room and she's saying, you should be doing push-ups every commercial. And all of us are terrified at this point, but we're like, this is the person who's going to challenge us and push us. So at that point, I'm dying to play for this woman. I want her to push me. I want to grow as a player and as a person. I get out there, we're going through a drill, and at one point I feel the same pain that I was feeling before. So we're doing a defensive drill, her, amoeba defense that she does, and I'm hopping every single slide because I have to do it for her. And she looks at me and is like, wow, like that you would just want to do this so badly for me is amazing. So get the x-ray, find out it's fractured again, I'm done for the year, I'm in a boot. And she allowed me to come up and just watch film, learn, in some of the meetings that they were doing, see it the way that they see it from the other side, because I knew from being a little girl that I wanted to stay invested in basketball in some way. And that was transformational for me, that she cared that much to allow me to stay involved, even though I could give her nothing but my voice, was so awesome for me. So when I had the opportunity to accept this position here, I called her up and just told her how much it meant to me and how impactful and how much of a big piece this was. And just true to Coach Jack's style, a big piece, I'm a small piece. And she prayed with me on the phone. She made me cry. She's crying, we're crying. And she's a great mentor. She's a great human. She does it for the right reasons. She challenges you, and she just changed your life. And I just always appreciative of her.
We'll give you one last one before we let you go and get back to business here. Your name's Billi. Billi O'Connor has been the baseball coach with the baseball program here for decades.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you come in, you want to take somebody's number. There's some kind of compensation for that. Any kind of compensation to Billi O'Connor for coming in and kind of joining the staff and being the second Billi?
He did tell me there's only room for one of us, so we're going to have to fight it out. So we got to figure it out.
You can be winter Billi, he can be spring Billi.
Sounds good to me.
Does that work?
That works.
All right, that is Billi Chambers, new head coach here at Xavier. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.